Welcome to Flash CS5 Tutorial 54, Image Loader. Most of what I've done so far in these tutorials is either drew a image within the Flash program, within the FLA, or I've imported them through the library from my browser. Now I'm going to show you a way where the image is imported, but it's done through code and it is not part of the FLA. I have a new FLA on the stage, and this is just ActionScript for this particular first part. I have a layer, I'm going to call it ActionScript AS. Open the Actions panel and type this code. It's not my code, it's like a formatted code. What we're going to do is import this preloader display. So import, that will turn purple. F1, small f, period. Display, small d, period. Pro loader, P, capital P, R-O, capital L-O-A-D-E-R. All of that turns purple if you spell it right, and a semicolon. And we're going to make a variable. We're going to call it loader1, capital L1, colon, it's a pro loader. That's just another form. Spelled the same as up there, capital P, capital L, with a semicolon. And here we're taking that variable loader1 and we're saying that's equal to a new pro loader. New is the same color as the bar, and pro loader is the same pro loader up here. Open close bracket, semicolon. And now here's the actual loading of what we're loading. Loader1, period. Load, small l, that turns blue. Bracket, new, that turns purple. It's called URL, capital U, capital R, capital L, request, capital R, EQUEST, that turns blue. Even though it says URL, it does other things. This particular time we're going to load in pictures that are in the same folder as this FLA will be. Okay, it has to be in the same folder as this FLA or it won't work. But you could, just like if you're using a browser, put the HTTP, www, blah blah blah, and put a whole URL in here, and it will bring that onto the stage for you when you run this program. But right now, I going to make sure I got a picture. My picture is going to be called capital PIC1, capital MC, capital LOADER, period. It's a JPEG. So I have open bracket, quotation mark, the name of my image. This is just a JPEG, period. It's a JPEG, so I got to tell me what kind of a file it is. Close quotation mark, and two close brackets, one for this open bracket and one for this open bracket, and a semicolon. And this is what brings it all together. Add child, small a, capital C, open bracket, loader1, close bracket, semicolon. Now, if indeed I have that picture in the same folder as this FLA, then this will work. So, but first I got to save this FLA. So I'm going to go save as, and I'm just going to call it TUT as in tutorial 54 image IMAGE loader LOADER. I'm just giving it a name, and I'm going to test it out. And if that picture with this name exists inside of that folder, this will work. If not, I'll have to go in there and name a picture. So let's test it. And there's the picture right there. Okay. Now that by itself isn't a whole lot, but there's other things we can do with it. So that's loading that picture, and the picture is not in the library, so it keeps the file, your FLA, small. Now let's have this not be automatic. Let's have this be the result of a button being pushed. And you can probably figure out how to do that, but let's go through it. Back to the main timeline. make sure this action script layer is locked so I don't inadvertently put something on it. Open a new layer, put the actions layer on top, call this layer buttons. buttons. There's going to be 2 buttons, I think. And on that layer, let's just draw a button. I'm keeping my stroke and fill, whatever they are. I got a rectangle. Make this to fit the window and put it down in the corner out of the way. There it is. Highlight it. Modify, convert it to a symbol. Make sure button is selected. And I'm going to call it LOAD, load, loader underscore BTN, loader button. I'm going to copy that. And while this is still selected, because I got that circle with the crosshairs, I know it, open up the properties panel, and there's the button. It's an instance of this. This one is an instance of it. And paste in that name that we just copied. So now we have a name. Okay, let's lock that layer. Let's open the actions layer. And up here, let's enter a couple of lines. Okay, up here, type. We're going to type in the first line of our button function. It's that button we just made, capital LOADER underscore BTN, period, add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L, open bracket, mouse event, capital M, capital E, period, click, all capitals, CLICK, comma, and I'm calling this function load, capital LOAD, close bracket, semicolon. And let's skip down to here, enter a line in, and let's put in the function, type. It's a function, FUNCTION, that's purple. There's the name of that load that I put up in this line up here. There's the load, you can copy it and paste it. Open bracket, event, EVENT, colon, mouse event, close bracket, colon, void. And we need a couple of brackets for my function. So here, put an open curly bracket. And down here, put a closed curly bracket. I'm just going to check here, auto format. No obvious errors. So now, let's test this movie out. Nothing's on the stage, but when I press the button, that image appears. I'm back on this action panel, and I want to load in a different picture, because I'm going to make it now so we can load in more than one picture by pressing this loader button. So down here, the picture I'm going to load in is called PIC1, capital P, capital I, capital C1. And I'm doing this for a reason, because I want them to be picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, picture 4, because we're going to automatically increment it. So let's just test that, because I'm certain I have that picture in the same folder, but let's make sure. Okay. Okay, so to make this happen, let's go way up here on this first line. And I'm hitting the enter sign so I can get up to the very top. And I'm going to produce a variable, VAR. VAR, it turns purple. It's going to be called PIC as in picture, CNT as in picture count, colon. It's that drop-up menu, capital NU. Now, see how this highlighted? I can press enter. Equals 0. Semicolon. So I'm going to start off with this variable called picture count, which is going to be equal to 0. And as we go through this, we're going to increment it. And as we increment it, we're going to change the picture we're going to be drawing in. So come down here. You have this pick JPEG, and I'm going to put something in here and then explain it to you. Paste. If you understand how strings work, this is pretty simple. If you don't understand strings at all, I'll give you another shot at them. The word here is open bracket, that was already there. Quotation mark, that was already there. Capital PIC, close quotation. So pick will be part of this picture, this image we're trying to get. The plus says add on to it. This is a string, capital STRING. This turns blue, and open bracket, pick count, close bracket. That's that variable up here we just made, this pick count. So it's 0 right now. So open bracket, pick count, close bracket, plus open bracket, quotation mark, period, JPEG. That's the same JPEG we already had previously. Close quotations, 3 close brackets, 1, 2, 3. One is for this open bracket here, one is for this open bracket here, and one is for this open bracket here. Actually, there's 4. There's another one here. Okay, so and count this one, so that works out right. And then your semicolon. Now, when the button is pushed, we're going to increment this pick count. So right here inside this function, every time the button gets pushed, we go in here and we're going to write PIC CNT pick count plus plus semicolon. Plus plus just means increment by 1. So now every time we press the button, this loader button, it'll go into this load function. The preloader will be in a position to do what it's going to do. It'll go into that load function. It'll increment pick count by 1, so 0, it'd be 1 now. So this new preloader, which is going to be in our variable loader 1, will now have this value, picture 1 period JPEG. Okay, and I have, I think, a picture 1, a picture 2, a picture 3, and a picture 4. So let's test this out. Hopefully there's no errors. No errors. There's the picture 1, there's picture 2, picture 3, and picture 4. Now, what's different about this than just using a ordinary PowerPoint or the slideshow? A big difference here is there's no images in my FLA, keeps my FLA small, and the person that is using this program never has to touch the FLA program. All he has to do is, when he wants to change his pictures, is put whatever pictures he wants in this folder and label them pick 1, pick 2, pick 3, and he can go as high as he wants. And that means he doesn't have to be someone that knows how to program Flash. One more thing I want to show you with this, about this particular part of it, is if you ask for more than 4 pictures, it just stops. It can't go past 4, and it will give you this error, but this error is only in your output here. It's not something that the user would see, and it's not causing any problems. You could go in here in the action script and write code to limit it to the number of pictures that you have, but that would defeat the purpose of allowing the user to have as many pictures as he wants. Now let's do the same thing, but this time let's load in a Swift file. Let's go back to the main timeline. And a Swift file is just a file that you generate when you test out a movie here. It'll generate it for us from your FLA. It's what's actually contains and what the person is actually using when he's watching your video, when he's watching or using your FLA. He's actually using a Swift file. Swift file is made from your FLA, and the Swift file is read by a Flash media player. And I have a Swift file in the same folder as these other images. So let's make another button. So unlock the buttons layer. Let's make it a different color, and let's make another square. modify it, convert it to a symbol, make sure button is selected. I'm going to call it loader2, L-O-A-D-E-R, loader2 underscore BTN. Copy this. Open up the properties panel, paste in that instance name. And let's go back to the actions panel. Oops. I want to lock that buttons layer. Back to the actions panel. And down here, after that last curly bracket, put a couple enters in. And let's just put some 2 backslashes and say video, V-I-D-E-O, Swift, S-W-F. So I know it's a Swift file that we're talking about. Type, 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 back to the typing. Type, 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 type. And here's the script for this video loader. This is the same format, just the words have changed. So here's loader2 underscore BTN. That's that new button, capital L. This here is exactly the same as what's above. If you want to copy this and paste it up to the comma. This time we're calling it load video, capital L, capital V, close bracket, semicolon. This is going to be this variable. The other one was loader. This is variable. This was loader1. This is going to be loader2. So variable loader2, capital L, colon, pro loader, same as what's up there, semicolon, function, and I just copied the load video and pasted in here, open bracket, event, small e, colon, most event, capital M, capital E, close bracket, colon, void. There's my open curly bracket. So I'm just start typing. This one usually comes up. Loader2 equals new pro loader, open close bracket, semicolon. Same as above, except there's a 2 instead of a 1. This is exactly the same. Loader2, period, load, open bracket, new. Again, URL request, capital U, capital R, capital L, capital R. And as I said, you can put a URL in here. It would go to it. Or actually, it wouldn't go to it. It would bring it into your video. Open bracket and quotations. I have a Swift file. I made it on a previous FLA just for this video. It's called Test Swift with capital letters, so I can recognize it and not take it out of my folder. Otherwise, this wouldn't work. Period, and tell me the kind of file it is. This is a Swift file, SWF. Close quotation, close bracket, semicolon, and again this add child, small a, capital C, open bracket, loader, capital L, 2, close bracket, semicolon, and close bracket. And if we got things right, no obvious faults, control test movie, and this one here is going to bring those 4 videos in, and this one is going to bring in that little video there of how that ball bouncing around. Now this could be anything you made on Flash and turned into a Swift. And as I said, as soon as you test it out, as soon as you go control test movie, that generates that Swift file for you. So I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.